Listen, you know what time it is. It's time for another episode of your favorite podcast entitled We Hate Your Internet. All right, gather around once again. This is We Hate You Internet, a podcast designed to bring awareness of the problematic effects of the internet on our lives as well as celebrate the beautiful simplicity of our humanity. I'm your host, Wilford Hamilton, and today we'll have another episode that we filed under the series we call The Mental Gym, and it is designed to help us humans to properly filter and process our feelings and emotions as we navigate this artificial life that we have because of the internet and things of that nature. The last episode we talked about happiness, understanding it, how to obtain it, and the obstacles that keep us from being happy. Today, we want to talk about uh, when you feel hopeless. I was going through some stuff recently. I've kind of alluded to some of the things that I've been going through my family, things of that nature, and it really brought this topic to mind because I know there's a lot of people out there that are dealing with this feeling of losing hope, especially with we talk about social media and looking at you have different obstacles and things in your life that you're dealing with, and then you go out and you look into the virtual streets and you're looking at other people's windows and they're having a wonderful time and enjoying family time and things of that nature, and it just reminds you of the difficulties that you're facing, and it makes you feel like there's no hope, right? And so I wanted to kind of point out a few things, a couple of things to consider, a couple of steps that you can kind of go through to help you navigate this obstacle in this space that you may be going through in your life. And so the first thing we always do when we're dealing with these kinds of episodes is we breathe, right? We talk about all the time why breathing is so important. It helps to it slows things down, gives you an opportunity to kind of really think clearly. Then also the increased oxygen into your brain helps to, your brain to be able to function optimally. So we want to do that. Now we're going to take 3 breaths. We're going to breathe in real deep into our nose. Hold it for a second. Then we're going to breathe out nice and slow. It's 1, 2. 3. Hold it. And let it go. Nice and slow. Then we put a smile on our face. And, that should clear some space for us to continue this conversation. As I mentioned before, I really thought about, discussing this. I'm going through some stuff. I'm gonna be a little candid. I'm gonna be open, and it's really not for like pity points and things of that nature, or for for the views. But I really want to just be open and candid and share some personal things for the sake of the topic, because I want people to understand, where I'm coming from, and that I do understand, right? And these are the tools that I use to navigate, when I'm feeling this way. And so, you know, I mentioned, like I said in previous episodes, my oldest son, matter of fact, my oldest two, they've got involved with drugs and, weed. And that's like, oh, weed ain't a big deal. But when it affects your life and it keeps you from being productive and it keeps you from being able to function and do the things that you need to do, um, then it is a big deal, right? And so, just a little background, like, I got married when I was 18. I had my first son when I was 20, second one when I was 22, and keep adding 2 after that. 4 kids total, me and my wife. And, I tried my best to be a great dad. I loved my kids very much. Early in their lives, I really dedicated myself to not only trying to provide, things they need, obviously, food and shelter and everything. Try to work, multiple jobs, try to make sure that happened. But also, I really made a concerted effort to be present in their lives. So I didn't do a whole lot of going out and hanging with my friends. And like when I wasn't at work and I wasn't at church, I was at home with my family. And I really tried to devote a lot of time to making sure that I was available to them when they were going through stuff. They had me there. I was there to help them, counsel them, and navigate them through different spaces in their life. Um, um, and that was really, really important to me. And I was really happy. And I really wanted to have a good relationship with my kids, you know, as they grew up into adults. One of the things I imagined in my mind was that, we would have family time together and we can go travel together. We can have a good relationship. And I really want to do everything that I could in my power to make sure that was the case. I never wanted anything from my kids, like money or for them to be an insurance policy for me when I get old. The main thing for me, and if you ever met my kids, you asked them, one of the main things for me was always just that they live a good life on the earth. That was all I wanted. What I mean, I wanted them to be productive, be able to be self-sustaining, be able to make good decisions, know how to make good decisions in their life, not only for them, but for the people that will come to depend on them, their family. They get married, you have wives and have children. You want to be able to make good decisions for the people that count on you. Like that's what I tried my best to train them how to be a good man. Like that was, and I didn't want no money and don't buy me no house. Like I was not that kind of guy. I just want you to be, uh, have a good life, man. Not a perfect life that doesn't exist, but just have a good life. You know what I mean? And so as they got a little bit older and they start to, stray away from the path that they had been, trained on, and it got to the point where it got super ugly and, drugs involved and people had to be removed from the home and our relationship is not that great today. And, it was a really tough time going through that because ultimately like I said, all I ever wanted was for them to have a good life, and for us to have a good relationship. And to see that disintegrate, and my oldest son, I haven't talked to him in a couple of months, and it's not because it's just like, it just got to that point, and um, I say all that because, going through that process, man, I really felt like I like my hope was dead. Like all my dreams that I had were destroyed. You know what I mean? Like, and this image that I had of my family, getting older with gray hair and being able to see my grand, like it just felt like it was all just dead. And I just felt like, man, and I understand like this is how it happens. And now, like I said, I want to share that because I want people to understand like this is the formula. In your life, you have these goals. A lot of times people, when they're younger, they have their imagination. Most of us operate off of imagination. Your imagination becomes your motivation, right? It provides you motivation to pursue the things that you've envisioned in your mind. And in life, sometimes when those things don't come to pass, it can be crushing, it can be devastating. And you feel like it causes a person to lose hope. Like there's no hope. If this didn't happen the way that I thought it should or that way I wanted it to, then there is no hope. And it's a very hard thing to experience. I can see why a lot of people like, suicide becomes a thing, or people just wild out and just don't care anymore about the consequences of their action. They just do wild and crazy in the field, anything, just to kind of make themselves forget, or just, drugs, alcohol, sex, whatever. Like you just turn cold hearted and you just, man, just go. Because you're hopeless. You lost hope. You don't feel like there's no point of trying anymore. And and so the first thing that I would say that you have to do in order to overcome this feeling, and I'm gonna be honest with you, this is not easy. What I'm about to say, like this, I don't want people to think that this is just, oh, I'm gonna give you these steps, boom, 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 and that fixes all the problems. No, it's not. But this is the path that you have to go down in order to find hope again, or to continue to move forward in your life. You have to go through these steps. And the first one, friend, you got to understand, life is not perfect. And like, we imagine, our imagination is perfect. Even when we imagine worst case scenarios, there's always something that you can handle. It's something that you can find a way that you can navigate through. You can prepare for things that you feel like you can handle, but very rarely do you imagine things that you can't handle. You shy away from those things. That's our human nature. Um, so when the unthinkable happens, typically you're not prepared for it. And it tears you apart. You know, uh, but the one thing that you gotta do is you gotta learn to accept, and this could be a process. Like it's not overnight. Like it's a process. It may take some time, months, years, who knows. But you gotta accept that this life isn't perfect. Your expectation should not be that everything that you hope and dream is gonna happen. It's not. And we live in a fairy tale centered society. With Disney, a lot of it. I'm 41, so I grew up with Disney movies, like cartoon movies, and it's everybody living happily ever after. You know what I mean? Aladdin flies off with Jasmine on a magic carpet into the sky. You know what I'm saying? Like that's the kind of stuff that when we have these images in our mind of happily ever afters. But sometimes happily ever after doesn't come, and you have to learn to accept that this is the reality of living on earth. Everything that you want, you're not gonna get everything that you want. Now, and sometimes, hey, sometimes things may take time, some things may come back around. True enough. But the reality is that everything that you want in your life, you're not gonna always get, and you have to learn to accept that. That's the first thing. You have to accept that you won't have everything you want, that your life is not perfect. That's not reality. And the one thing that you have to learn how to do in your life is accept reality. People say, well, you got to go to counseling. But even if you go to counseling, you have a good counselor, right? Because some people are just down there for that money dollar. But, if you have a good counselor, that person is going to end up, at some point, they're going to have to tell you the truth. They can tell you some things that they can validate some of the feelings that you have and say, okay, well, that's normal. This is okay. I understand. This is the way you feel this way. But at some point, they're going to tell you, like, the reality. You can't have this. This is happening because you did this, or this is your fault. Like and you're going to have to accept that in order for you to move forward from that point in your life. You got to accept the hard truth, right? You know what I mean? And this is road that you have to tread in order to find hope again. You got to accept the hard truths. The main one being that your life is not perfect. So that's the first thing, right? The second thing, after you do that, then you can start trying to find out new things to pursue, new hopes, new dreams, new goals. You're not dead. If you're still alive on the earth, then you have time to find something else that you can be passionate about. Like every human being on the earth is not just one dimensional. Every human being is complex. They have multiple layers to themselves. And sometimes you may have to find some different layers and different aspects or different angles, different gifts, different talents, whatever, that you can be passionate about and that can motivate you and excite you again. With this business thing that I'm doing, like I'm trying to figure out even with the business stuff that I have, a lot of it wasn't tied to just trying to be rich and have money. And like, it was really legacy. It was about trying to build something and provide an example for my kids. Like that's what was really the main motivation. But when this thing happened with my two oldest, like it put a damper on that too. Like I wasn't as motivated. But then I had to say, man, you know what? I'm still, I was dad and I still am dad, right? And I'll always be dad, but I'm also Wilford Dwayne Hamilton. I'm an individual. I have my own individual life. I have my own individual cares. I have my own individual standards that I want to set for myself, my own individual goals. That's a really hard thing sometimes for parents because that becomes your identity, and rightfully so. Like it's necessary for it to but it becomes who you are, but it's not the only aspect of you. And you have to learn how to gauge that and find a balance in that so that you move forward. The same thing happens like when you're married, like when you lose somebody in your life, mother, father, brother, sister, friend, husband, wife, whatever. Like that's been your life for so long, and when you lose them, it can be devastating. And in order for you say, man, there's no hope. Like I don't feel like living, and I get it, man, I do. But what you gotta understand is that life goes on, and your life can go on, and it's okay for you to allow your life to go on because you're still living. And as you move on in your life, you're still gonna have moments of sadness, and that is okay. That's normal. I think a lot of times the reason why people have such a hard time with like getting over a heartbreak and getting over disappointment is because they feel like it's not normal for them to have these moments of sadness as they go. They think, well, if I'm over it, then I should be over it. I shouldn't feel no sadness. Well, that's not true. That's not real. And it's perfectly normal for you sometimes to just feel sad. Monday, you were feeling great. Tuesday, you're down again because you saw something or something reminded you of that person. You just make you feel sad and you just kind of want to lay low. That's okay. Nothing's wrong with you if that's the case. Like being sad is normal. And then Wednesday, Thursday, you back on the roll. Like, and that's okay. And you have to allow yourself to be okay with that. Nothing's wrong with you because you get sad sometimes. Like I have my days where I feel sad sometimes. Like, and that's okay. You know what I mean? And I allow myself to have those moments because it was hurtful. It's a hurtful thing, right? But I'm not gonna allow it to crush me to the point where I can't move forward. You know what I mean? Because there are still things in my life that I can accomplish. There are still things in my life. My life can still be good. I mean, and my life really is good. I still have a lot of blessings in my life. I love my oldest boys. Like I don't wish them bad, and like my hope is still that they can recover. Who knows what our life may never be what I wanted it to be, but I still hope for them to recover. I still have my two youngest, and I still have to be a father to them. You know what I mean? I'm gonna do my best. I'm not gonna quit. I've had the feeling, right, man. It don't matter. Like it don't matter. Just put your hands up. It don't matter about you being a dad. It don't matter what you do. That's not true. I tell them that's not true. Like my youngest still need their father. And so I can't lose hope. I can't give up. I gotta keep pressing because I owe it to them. They have to have every right to have a good father too, right? And so um, there's always something else to keep you motivated, keep you moving forward. So once you realize that life isn't perfect, the next step is to find new things to be excited about, new things to have hope, and new goals, new things to motivate you, right? And then the last step, and I already mentioned it, is to give yourself space to feel. And even as you move forward in your life, you're gonna have times when you're gonna be disappointed or feel sad, and that's okay. You don't have to feel like something's wrong with you or that like you, and just do not allow yourself to get like captured by it, ensnared, where it's just like snuff you out. You can't allow that. Moments, yes, but you can't let it hold you down. I mean, and like I said, this may take months, it may take a year, it may take 2 years, who knows, before you ultimately get over it. I'm not saying, like I said, it's easy. It may take some time, but you got to always be thinking in your mind, I can move forward. And you have to allow yourself to move forward. And as you move forward, keep some space for you for when you do have moments when you remember you feel sad, that's okay. Like I said, typically I try to keep these videos short. We want to go ahead and start trying to wrap this thing up. That's the 3 steps. And if you find yourself in that space in your life where you're feeling a bit hopeless, I hope this video helped. And if you find yourself in this space in the future, you can always come back, save it, bookmark it, whatever, and you can come back over and we can go through this stuff again. I forgot to mention at the beginning, please make sure that you subscribe. Hit the like button. Please leave a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts if this was helpful, or if you have any questions, feel free to ask, and I'll be happy to help in any way that I can. I also want to encourage to those that are listening, please, please, please hit the follow button for the show. If you could, like it and leave a review. For those that have you, I would really, really appreciate it. I want to ask that you continue to do so because it helps to promote the show and it recommends to other people the more interaction that we receive on the platform. I've seen an increase, definitely a bit of an increase in the reach. We're reaching a lot more countries these days. A lot more people are picking up in different countries. So the show is growing. I'm very super, super grateful for that. Thank you so much. So yeah, that is the show for today. We want to leave you like we always do, asking that you stay safe, stay blessed, and please, please, stay human. We out.